This year's Game Awards was full of surprises and special announcements, and now it's time to break them all down. This is the Top Moments brought to you by the U.S. Air Force, where great starts happen, from launching a career and making lifelong friendships to becoming a better you. And now our panelists are breaking down their standout moments from the event.
Welcome back to IGN's recap coverage of the Game Awards. The show is huge and packed with great moments. Now I want to talk about our favorite ones. Jada, let's start with you.
My number one is Monster Hunter Wilds. Like, hands down, biggest announcement for the show for me. I was really hoping for a 2024 release date. I'm a little worried about it coming out in 2025 because we know GTA is coming out in 2025, and this was my pick. This is probably going to be my game of the year because I put so much time into Monster Hunter. But man, oh God, it just looks so good. It looks so gorgeous. This 6th generation of Monster Hunter, looks like we're getting some new type of creature, some type of mount to ride. My big question, there's no palicos. There's no sight of any of the palicos, which is normally the little helper cats that help you out. They'll be in the game. Palicos have been there all the time.
If nothing else, they'll be at the village.
But yeah, a bunch of new creatures, it looks like. I don't recognize it.
The desert setting is really interesting.
I really like the desert setting, and like the sandstorm, that's kind of like, it looks like all the storm effects are just dialed up massively compared to what we've gotten in previous Monster Hunter games.
See, previous games, Monster Hunter Rise was sort of a Southeast Asian kind of setting, and then Monster Hunter World was the new world. So this one looks more North African, perhaps. Yeah, for sure. So I like the new biome.
Yes,
so
the biomes look great. The creatures, the new monsters look awesome. Also, I saw a couple people mention that there's looks to be a slinger. And it looks like a Rathalos there, or Rathalos, however you want to pronounce it. Looks like they saw the slinger, so I don't know if that means Clutch Claw is also coming back from 5.
Let's go.
I would love to see the Clutch Claw come back. It was the best way for like mounting. Hopefully they'll balance it because it was a little too strong.
It was a little OP, but it was fun.
Exactly, and that's the most important thing, is it being fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds, hands down.
Are we thinking this is the follow-up to World?
Yeah,
yes,
this is by the same team.
Okay.
And it's going to be, I think, much more of a next-gen vibe, I think, than Monster Hunter Rise, which was a very good game, no joke, but I have been really looking forward to kind of a proper follow-up to World, I think.
Is it strange that they don't show any of the cooperative gameplay here? I mean, that's such a huge part of it, right?
It is a very big part of it, but I think they really just didn't want to like split the view or whatnot and showing. This is a very different Monster Hunter trailer than we usually get, because a lot of times they do show off the multiplayer and it's kind of showing off the weapons and kind of like there's no combat.
They didn't also show really any of the star monsters. Yes. They showed a lot of the biome, and they showed the traversal and the fact that you can fly with your mount, apparently. They didn't really show. They didn't really show a ton of the star monsters.
I think they're trying to show the technology evolution and what they've managed to do with the engine. You brought up the weather effects, and I think that's a really good point to make, because it's very impressive how much more vibrant they are and powerful.
If I could get one wish for this game that probably will not make it in the game, I want to see underwater combat come back from Tri. I know most people hated underwater combat, but man, I got so good at it and I really enjoyed it. And it would also be a great way to bring back Legiacris. So please, please give me underwater combat.
With this and GTA 6, we're starting to get sort of a picture of what 2025 is going to look like, and there's going to be a lot of big
I think GTA
games.
6 is in trouble, honestly.
No. I don't think so.
I don't know if it's I don't see this one getting 100 million views in a couple days, but man, I think it's going to perform really well in 2025 for Capcom.
Destin, what was your pick of the show?
Hellblade 2, hands down.
Yeah.
I was super excited to see just what they've managed to do with the game engine, and they actually showed combat. One of the things I've been waiting to see from Hellblade was, how have you pushed the combat forward? How have you changed it? Because one of the big criticisms about the original was it was pretty standard. You would kind of block and you would
had the parries
hit.
and stuff.
Yeah, but it was light.
It was fine though. It worked for what it was going for, because it was supposed to be more narrative driven, and they gave you the combat as kind of like the in between to like, so it wasn't. People couldn't complain. There's no fighting in this game.
Jurgens has a blog where she actually posts some of the work that she does as the lead actress, and one of the scenes that really struck me was her practicing combat. So she would go in and then parry back, and getting to see that now in the game engine and how that looks being brought to life in Unreal Engine 5, it's stunning. Everything about what they've managed to do with this game, it's getting to the point where it's near photorealism. So I'm wondering, like, how soon until we're in that uncanny valley territory, or are we just not going to hit it because we've managed to make these games look so beautiful that we've just kind of gotten used to it?
I would think maybe we might be past it.
Yeah, exactly.
Already.
That's what I'm saying.
This is nice. It's nice to see a lot of gameplay here. You know, Hellblade 2 was shown at the Game Awards 2019. I don't even remember what was shown back then, but then a couple years later, we got that awesome cinematic trailer with the giant. And then this summer, there was kind of that odd trailer that was the showcase of the facial animation. And here, finally, we just get a long, long look at combat. We did not get a release date, though.
Yeah, that's definitely a valid criticism. We know it's 2024. We didn't even get a window. Like, give us that next tease of when it's going to come out. I don't think there was a person who saw this and just said, oh, yeah, it doesn't look that good. Yeah, everybody's pretty stunned by what was on display.
The one thing I need to know more on is the sound design, because sound design is a major component of the original. And watching it here in the studio and stuff is a little tough to hear the sound as through a surround or through headsets. I wasn't able to do that for the trailer, so I got to go back and rewatch this later tonight with some headphones on and see how the sound design is in the trailer.
If you go back and you play the original, definitely play with headphones on.
Yes.
It makes such a difference, and it gives you the vibe that they're going for. I played through the original twice, and it very quickly I understood why it is regarded so highly. Wonderful game. I can't wait to see how it evolves.
Kat, what was your highlight?
My highlight was maybe a game that flew a little under the radar. It was by Hello Games. It's called Light No Fire. And I like No Man's Sky quite a bit, actually. And so fantasy No Man's Sky set on a procedurally generated planet sounds really compelling to me. And I think at first blush, it looks kind of like Valheim or something like that. But I think what they were trying to endeavor to explain was that this is literally a life-sized Earth that you can explore, and I'm really compelled by the idea of being able to build a settlement with my friends, maybe go on quests or whatever kind of adventure aspect they have, because they managed to build in a lot of sort of RPG-style quest chains in No Man's Sky, or just start to venture out and explore. And if it's indeed a true open world, like an actual honest-to-God, literally this is a one-to-one Earth kind of open world, I think that opens up a ton of fascinating gameplay possibilities, and this game is gorgeous.
I love the color palette on this one. It's just, there's so many colors that are used and complementing each other.
Blues and greens, yes. I love it.
Yeah, lots of yellows too. I think I'm waiting for, once this launches, if it is a full-on planet, the YouTuber that's like, I walked around the whole planet on foot.
It'll take years, though.
They'll do it.
It's like the person who charts every single star in Elite Dangerous or something like that. Yeah, they'll do that in this one. Or like just the possibility if they have oceans, they showed going underwater and everything. Can you literally be out at sea?
Yeah.
Like for years. I mean, I really hope that they pull this off. And the thing that gives me a little bit of hope is that No Man's Sky, as we all know, started out quite rough. And I think some of the reason that Sean Murray was maybe looking a little stressed out on stage was that he didn't want to overpromise this time around.
Yeah.
Which I respect that.
Sure.
But at the same time, I think that they learned a lot of lessons from No Man's Sky, and they're going to put that into action. At a minimum, we're going to have multiplayer at the start.
Yeah.
So this planet is procedurally generated, but Earth is a very specific planet. So why do you think they're calling this Earth? Is it supposed to be us?
I don't think it's supposed to be us. I think it is supposed to be a fantasy world. And the thing that I think the key word is unexplored.
Right.
I think that the suggestion is that there's a lot on this planet to find that maybe even the developers don't necessarily know what's going on with that. Maybe the players will be able to kind of unlock their own gameplay. I think one of the key lessons from Baldur's Gate 3 winning Game of the Year at the Game Awards is that reactivity and gameplay that kind of spawns out of your actions is maybe one of the most exciting forms of playing a game going forward. And I think the possibilities in a game like this are really strong.
And also discovery, right?
Right.
And in this trailer, we see dragons, we see some sort of rabbit people
Sentient
with
jackrabbits.
a troll,
Giant
and this
hummingbirds.
giant monster that starts to move. So they're teasing just a few of the discoveries that we'll find in Light No Fire, and that has me more intrigued than anything. What are the stories that will unfold as you explore? And will I be fighting that giant, or will he be friendly? Like, what is that going to be like?
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings is not just about the Mines of Moria. It's a walking simulator, and Frodo and Sam walking across Middle Earth. I think it could be really compelling to get together a bunch of friends and just be like, how far can we get? Where are we going? We're going on a road trip, a fantasy road trip.
Well, something that's not going to be a walking simulator is going to be the Crazy Taxi
Yep.
and stuff. Damon, I think that was your big one, right? The Sega
Yeah,
stuff?
well, not Crazy Taxi specifically, but just the Sega stuff in general. They announced they're going to be creating new entries in some of their classic series, which include Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, going really, really far back, Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage. And I'm a big, retro gamer. Everyone knows this about me. So if they're making, I hope they're just making, like we see in some of the footage here, new entries, but not trying to modernize them too much. There was a bad this Golden Axe game in the mid 2000s, Golden Axe Beast Rider, I think it was, trying to modernize it for the PS2 era. Yeah. So just make new versions of sort of classic retro style, 16-bit Sega games. I'm totally on board with that. What's a little strange is that they did have Streets of Rage 4 very recently, and that was excellent from
Yes.
.emu. So it's maybe they should just let .emu make Streets of Rage 5. I don't know. But I love Golden Axe. I love Shinobi. I think the smart thing, what I hope they're doing is just hiring really talented indie developers to do that for them. That's one of the smartest things Konami has done in years, is to allow the Dead Cells guys to bring Castlevania into Dead Cells. So, cool announcement, cool news for fans of retro gaming there.
Which of those five is your go-to from those? Is it Streets of Rage?
Probably Streets of Rage. I think the Streets of Rage trilogy on the Genesis are the best brawlers ever.
I think Shinobi looks really cool.
I think it looks really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jet Set Radio, that one previously leaked, and having a fully HD cel-shaded version of Jet Set Radio as a remake, let's go.
Yeah. The Crazy Taxi one is interesting. I know people love Crazy Taxi and they'd love to see that return, but the soundtrack is so important to that.
Yeah.
So are they just going to find new songs that work really well?
Bring Offspring out of retirement.
Right?
You
That's
gotta
what
have
people are going to
Offspring,
say.
Yes.
That's what people are going to want. Okay. During the show, there was a little bit of confusion because we knew that they were going to be announcing the release date for Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox.
Surprise, it's now.
And it was very, very near the end in a very short little commercial where it just said, it's party time, but they never said the words, it's out this day or it's out now. Mm-hmm. But yes, it is out now. Baldur's Gate 3 is out now on Xbox. It is party time.
And also it won Game of the Year.
And also one game of the year.
And a whole
Yeah,
bunch of
congratulations,
other awards.
Valeria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're seeing a real... I've been a little bit surprised lately. I think for most of the year, I was just assuming that it was Tears of the Kingdom was just a shoo-in, but people are coming out for Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, I had a feeling as soon as Tears won the action adventure, I was like, oh, that means Baldur's Gate is winning.
I'm glad that Tears won
Yes.
a thing, a major category. It deserved it.
Yes, 100%. It would have been really crazy for that game to get snubbed at the Game Awards.
Yeah, that would have been just an all-time snub after everybody was like, well, this was clearly not just the best game of the year, but one of the best games of all time. Oh, it didn't win anything.
So
Yeah, I counted a few of the awards. Best performance, great speech, by the way, I thought up front. Best RPG, best multiplayer, player voice, and best community sport.
Those all went to Baldur's Gate,
All
right?
went to Baldur's Gate. Alan Wake also received much acclaim during the awards show. Well deserved.
yes.
I think also Baldur's Gate 3 probably has a chance to do extremely well in a lot of the other major awards shows, like the Game Developers Choice Award and the BAFTAs. That doesn't always happen. I think these other shows tend to break sharply from the Game Awards, but I think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be kind of sweeping it, much like Elden Ring did for much of the other earlier this year.